We have already seen general purpose AI SQL functions and a few task specific function, and there are a few more that we will quickly cover in this chapter. These functions are built for a specific purpose and support different options as input parameters, and this is critical from an exam point of view. Let's review this sample question. If you get a question like this, as shown here, you must be aware of the limitations and the flexibility of each of these functions and when and where to use them for a given scenario. That's exactly what we'll cover in this quick and a short video. You don't have to go through the Snowflake documentation or memorize everything. With this visual tutorial, you will understand the core objective of each task specific function and be able to attempt the question very confidently in the GenAI certification exam. If we look into this syllabus tree map, here is my task specific subsection which comes under my domain 2, and we have already covered sentiments and past document, and we will cover this simple task specific function called classify, extract, summarization and translate. They have their latest version called AI classify, AI extract, AI summaries and AI translate. They are very simple. However, when these functions are combined with scenario based question, you will get confused, and sometime exam will validate your knowledge about the must and optional parameter when these functions are called, and you will get confused and probably lose the mark if you are not aware about these must and optional parameters when it comes to the SQL syntax. Let's go to our Snow site and start validating them. A quick reminder, all my videos are recorded in 4K, so switch to 4K for the best clarity. You can follow me on Instagram and message me to get a free copy of GenAI certification glossary, perfect for your exam prep. Also, check the video setting because this video support more than 13 languages including Asian and European languages. So this is my worksheet task specific function.sql. So let's start with classify text. If you see classify underscore text belongs to Snowflake database, Cortex schema, and it has a newer version called AI classify. So we'll start with classify text and then we will cover AI classify. If you look into their input, both take this prompt followed by list of categories, and the last one is object, but the first one is called option and the second one is configuration object. So let's understand this function with a simple example. So this is my prompt or input which says I enjoy reading books, and I have provided this list of categories which is reading and traveling. And if I run this, here the response comes label equals to ready, and if I double click, the return type is variant. There are few important things. These categories should be mutually exclusive and they should not be very cryptic in nature, and they should be a real category. You cannot give XYZ or ABCD. And also Snowflake recommends that do not give a code snippet or any other log and that kind of input which is difficult to classify under this category. So these are the couple of recommendation provided by Snowflake. Now let's see another example. So this is a table where I have all the support tickets where it says I was charged twice for my subscription this month, my app keeps crashing, and so on. I need to classify this support ticket under different category called billing, technical, account, shipping, and general. Here I have just given the category, but I can also go and specify what is the category and what is the description. So anytime it has a payment issues, invoices, refund, and charges, put it as a billing. Likewise, if there is an app error and so on, put it under technical and so on. Here I have given the last option, which is this one. I can say classify the customer support issue type. And if I run, here is the result. So it has classified each of this ticket in an appropriate category. Now let's take another example, which is primarily for the bank request. And this is the data set. I see the transaction I do not recognize on my credit card and I want to apply for a personal loan. And these kind of messages are coming in your bank request. And you want to classify each of them under these 5 categories. So here I have a label followed by description, which is part of this list object. And finally, I say task description equals to classify the type of banking request. Now let's run and see what result does it bring. So here it has classified each of them pretty well. This is a fraud case, this is a card issue, this is loan, this is balance, and this is transfer. So whether you use AI classify or classify text, this is the primary purpose of that function. I just change to AI classify without making too much of changes, and it is still able to recognize it. The only advantage with AI classify, you can have a multi-level outcome as a part of this function. And let me show you. And here is example where this is my input, this is my category. In this case, I am not putting too much of description. And here the output mode is multiple. So let me run this. And you can see it is cooking and travel, right? So in the exam, they will ask you which function should I choose if I want a multiple categories to be tagged for this review command. And you should always go for AI classify over the classify text. Now, more elaborated example here. This is my input. This is the object or array where I have a label followed by travel, and I also provided description, and this is the actual description. And if you see second object where I have the task description, output mode, and couple of example. And here for a complex input, you prefer to provide more and more description. So you increase the accuracy of your outcome from this function. So let me run this. Now here you say cooking and travel. So we understood how this classify text or AI classify works. We understood input parameter, what are the must input and optional input. If you add label, description and all those things, obviously you will have a more cost because it will consume more token as an input as well as an output. Most of the token cost is on the input side, not on the output side. And we understood the limitation of both the function. One provide your multiple categorization and one provide a single categorization. Next, we will see how the extract function works, and extract is very similar to your parse document in some manner, but we'll go deeper and understand why Snowflake support this function. So the purpose of extract answer is primarily to fetch an answer for a given question from the text content or a text document. And here is the construct. You have to provide the input source document and you have to ask a question. Let's see a very simple example here. So this is my source document which says the transaction was declined because my card has expired. And the question which I'm asking, what is the reason for the credit card transaction was declined? When I run this particular function, I got an array object which says answer my card has expired and score is 0.9511917. The newer version of the same function is known as AI underscore extract rather than AI underscore extract underscore answer. So just remember this difference. And here I'm asking the same question. However, my input is slightly different. Here I am giving a response format, how the response should come, and I can add many questions. So let's run this. The reason is my card has expired. However, it is not giving me a confidence level. Let's see another example. If you look to this example, here I am using 2.5, which is covered in one of our chapter. Here is my response format. So instead of giving the free text, I am giving the image. And let me show you how this image looks like. So here I have this invoice number. Here I have this supplier name. Here I have a client name. And if you look here, this is my total due. And I am going to ask a question using this AI underscore extract function. Please fetch this detail. So this is my stage and I have this one invoice image and I also have an image which is in a French language. Now I am passing this image and asking what is the invoice number, what is the supplier, even though I have made a spelling mistake, what is the supplier name, what is the due amount, and what is the client name. Let's run this function. And if you look, I got the detail. They are pretty much accurate. Now, if I change this image to French, I don't need to tell the language of this invoice, but still my questions are in English. Let's see what happens. So I got the correct detail. This is my invoice number and we have this company name. So this is the due amount. This is the name of the customer. Pretty powerful function and it serves the purpose very well. In the exam, a scenario based question will confuse you between doc AI, parse document, and AI underscore extract function. So make sure that you thoroughly practice all of them to get a broader understanding when and how these functions should be used for given use cases or for a different type of use cases. So we covered this extract function, which comes in a two different flavor. One as a legacy, where we use extract answer, and one with the latest, which is AI extract, which support multimodality and different languages. And it's very convenient to ask the question using this function, whether it is image, doc, PDF, it will extract pretty accurate answer. Now, next is summary. Here we have two different options. One is called Cortex summarize. Another is called AI summarize aggregate. This is an aggregated function and this is a scalar function. So this function summarizes the given English language input text, and on the other hand, AI summarize aggregate aggregates a text column and return a summary across multiple rows. And this function is not subject to context window limitation. Very important, this question can be asked during the exam. Let's move to our snow site. The SQL construct is very clean. It only takes an input parameter and it doesn't allow any other parameter to control the summarization text or what should be the length of the text. So let me run and see what does it return. So I copied this text from one of our earlier past document example, and if I have to summarize this long text, let's see what result does it bring. So here it says this paper introduce SPEC 5G and so on. So this is a summary output and purely a text output. Likewise, here I have app review and I have multiple records and I am using my common table expression. And finally, I am passing this column name within this AI summarize aggregated function. And let's run this and validate the output. So based on this four comment, so this is the summary text and here also this is a text output. It says the app has a clean interface, loads quickly and so on. Let's try another example. I have total 20 such reviews and they are slightly long, and let me run this. I got the answer and summary looks pretty cool. And this looks fantastic because it managed to process a lot of data super fast. And you don't need to worry about the model and the language and so on. Everything is taken care. If you have a use case where you have to summarize thousands of review, it can be done very fast using this AI summarize aggregated function. So we have covered this summarize, which comes in a two different flavors. Now let's quickly check the translate. It's a pretty straightforward and simple function. Translate and AI translate, the construct is pretty simple and there is nothing much to understand. However, we have to understand and what is the purpose of Cortex translate versus AI translate. If you look into this translate function, it takes the subject and source alphabet versus target alphabet. The primary purpose of translate function is to make the specified substitution. This function does not translate between the language. It is primarily a replace equivalent between two languages. And when we run this line number 60, you would understand better. So if I run this particular SQL statement, it managed to find this character in this particular text and replace it with this character. So this is the purpose of this Cortex dot translation. On the other side, if I run this AI underscore translate, this is basically a translation function and it translates from English to Dutch. And this is how it works. Very unlikely that you will get any question from this topic. However, good to know this is how the Cortex dot translate versus AI underscore translate function, and when to use AI underscore translate if you have to translate from one language to another language, and when you have to perform the substitution operation, then you have to use this function translate. Thanks for watching this video. This channel is dedicated to helping you master Snowflake, data engineering and GenAI skills without the complexity. And if you want to take your learning to the next level, you can also explore my Udemy courses for deeper and structured training. See you in the next video. Keep learning and keep growing.